In 1932, the country of Australia went to war. The conflict lasted 1 month, 1 week, and 1 day. Not a single soldier died, but they lost the war anyway. Their opponents were unarmed. And when we say unarmed, we mean that they literally did not have arms. Because they were birds. Today, on 5-Minute Trivia, we're talking about the Great Emu War of 1932.
We choose to go to the moon.
The rum-tum-tugger is a curious cat.
100 billion other galaxies.
Right now, you like me.
Welcome to 5-Minute Trivia, where we're making the world smarter 5 minutes at a time. I'm your host, R.M. Zuberi. The emu is a large, flightless bird with the legs of an ostrich, the brain of a hummingbird, and the heart of a Japanese kamikaze pilot. The emu is a national symbol of Australia that you can find on the 50-cent piece. It also appears on Australia's coat of arms along with the kangaroo, but kangaroos have never successfully taken on a soldier with a machine gun. So how did this bird, that is clearly so important to Australia, end up in a war with Australia? Well, like many things, we can blame World War I. It wasn't just the Ottomans and Habsburgs that had a rough go of things after the war. When Australian soldiers came home, many of them were given land by the government to take up farming in Western Australia. They cleared the land, brought water, and grew a lot of wheat. These were ideal conditions for conquest. In 1932, 20,000 emus invaded the wheat belt of Western Australia. They tore through fences, ravaged crops, and cleared a path for a second wave of marauding rabbits. Besieged farmers appealed to the Minister of Defense, a man named Sir George Pearce. Minister Pearce called in the Royal Australian Artillery. To get a sense of what the Australian military was up against, here's a clip from a documentary film that was made at the time of the war.
The scouts of the advancing army have keen eyesight, and in order to get close to the main body, our lads have to do some real stalking, with the enemy watching events through their periscopes, raised up over the heads of corn.
From the start, the Australian military had a fight on their hands. The first theater of battle was the town of Campion, where 50 emus were sighted. The birds successfully evaded gunfire, so Major Meredith of the 7th Heavy Artillery Division executed a flanking maneuver. The goal was to herd the enemy into a deadly ambush. This failed, and the town of Campion fell to the emu horde. You may think I'm exaggerating here, but I'm not. Campion was literally abandoned, and today is a ghost town. After the Campion fiasco, Major Meredith was not relieved of his command, but he changed tactics. Instead of taking on battle-hardened emus, he chose a soft target of civilian birds that could more easily be massacred. However, Major Meredith received bad intel. These emus were not as innocent as they appeared. Here is one account from an Army observer.
Each pack seems to have its own leader now. A big, black, plumed bird which stands fully 6 feet high and keeps watch while his mates carry out their work of destruction and warns them of our approach.
Major Meredith himself was devastated. In defeat, he said,
"If we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world. They can face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks."
A little more than a month later, Defense Minister Pearce conceded defeat and withdrew his forces from the wheat belt of Western Australia. This was not the end of the emu menace. Now flush with the smell of victory, they continued to torment farmers who requested military assistance in 1934, 1943, and 1948. But with the scars of defeat still fresh in their memory, the government turned them down. Today, the emus are still around, but farmers have learned better than to engage the birds in open warfare. Now, they build fences. In hindsight, the government probably should have known what it was in for. Way back in 1696, the Dutch explorer Willem de Vlamingh anchored near the Swan River in Western Australia. De Vlamingh found the giant footprint of a large animal and called it most frightening to observe. That giant, fearful animal turned out to be the emu. That's our show this week. Join us next time right here on 5 Minute Trivia. Thanks for listening.